We respectfully request the Sangha of great virtues, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức thắng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, thịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sadanto Suchedo Ye Alahadi San Miao San Puto Xie. Nam mô Tạc Tạc Tha Tuya Daya Alahade Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian wan jian an zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Jingliang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good knowing advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精量大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa Thượng Thiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 24th of February 2023. We're here at Way Mountain Temple to continue discussing a prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. We're right now on slide 274 for door number 2. It's about stores and the teachings containing it. So it is discussing this is a great sutra, and the best sutra, the most important sutra in Buddhism, in Mahayana in particular, called the Flower Adornment Sutra, or the Sanskrit name is the Avatamsaka Sutra. So the prologue written by Master Jingliang is sort of a survey of this sutra, and so this chapter here, door number 2 here, discusses the stores, or the 3 baskets that the sutra belongs to, and the teachings that it contains. So basically, it belongs to the Sutra store, and it contains all the teachings. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. I'm glad that have you here with us. In California in particular, it's kind of cold and wet and slippery, so it's difficult for us to even try to make it here. It's kind of brave to dare brave the weather, to drive here? I would not, let me tell you. I'm a chicken. Okay, well, I'm glad to have you here. Okay, as usual, I know we have all sorts of people at different levels, so feel free to ask questions and that that pop up in your mind. Don't be afraid. Unless you ask questions, the Dharma cannot really penetrate you. The questions you have in your mind are actually barriers to the penetration of Dharma, your understanding of the Dharma. So feel free to ask questions, okay? Anytime. Besides, you'll be hard-pressed to find anyone who would dare explain to you the sutra in English. And in particular, my master disciples, my peers, I would not consider myself to be their peers. My contemporaries, well, I would not even call myself contemporaries. I'm just a lowlife. Okay? But Master Hsuan disciples who are also specialists in this sutra as well, Avatamsaka Sutra, they explain it as well in English. But you'll be hard-pressed to find that people having a chance to ask questions. Okay? Questions are critical for the penetration of the Dharma, for the impermeation of Dharma into your psyche, into your soul. Okay, so that's why we encourage you to ask questions and spend as long as it takes to answer your questions the best way we can. All right, 274, text. The sorting out of provisional and actual will be explained later in the establishment of teachings. This ends the explanation of the stores in which it is contained.
简于全实，治下立教中明，以便所藏摄尽。
Okay, 275, a commentary. When you learn the Dharma, you learn especially Mahayana Dharma, don't expect to be able to understand. It's not the point. The point is that you listen to it and you allow these supreme seeds of the Dharma, the seeds of the supreme Dharma, to be created in your consciousness. And eventually, down the road, these seeds will sprout. And they keep on sprouting and sprouting until you get a lot more out of the teachings naturally. So the learning of the Dharma is a two-step process. Okay, first you need to plant the seeds. That's by listening, and this is why in the Saha world where we are, we stress there's a lot of emphasis on the speaking of Dharma if you are professionals like us. Okay? We must learn to lecture on sutras. And so, because we lecture in sutras, whether it's Hinayana, Mahayana, in particular for us, Mahayana sutras are really supreme seats for you. And what does it take? You need to listen. That's all it takes. Even when you don't understand anything, the seeds are still planted in your consciousness. Okay? And later, when you meditate, when you do things, you cultivate, whether you do ceremonies, you do bowing, you even listen to sutras or meditate or recite sutras and so forth, you will naturally enter samadhi, and that's when the seeds will mature. Okay? That's when you will blossom, you will attain great benefits. So it's not like worldly pursuits where you see concrete results right away. It's like farming here. That's why the Chinese use the word 修行 or cultivation. The cultivation like farming. You need to plant the seeds. You need to prepare the soil. You need to plant the seeds. And then wait for time. Wait for the right conditions. Okay, and that's when you get to reap the great benefits. And that's, what you see there is really long-range planning. All great things need time to be accomplished. Okay. All right. So that's why we have a lot of when you listen to this sutra here, even though we know that many of you are new, many of you are don't have the jargon, don't have the background, don't have the experience, we still encourage you to attend these lectures because they are there, they're designed to help plan the best seats there are right now, okay, for you. So I assure you, your time listening to sutras is never wasted. It's one of the investments of your time, okay, in your spiritual pursuit. And they're there. The seats are there forever. These seats, when you plant in the field, you need to use them within a specified period of time, otherwise they rot and they'll disappear, okay, they become useless. The Vajra seats here that we are planting with you, I myself included, when I listen to this, all these texts here, I'm also planting the seeds in my consciousness. And the seeds is what you will carry with you lifetime after lifetime, forever. How's that for investments? Right? So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing that this tradition of listening to sutra, explaining sutras, and so forth. So I'm glad you decided to come and participate in this, and so that's why in doing that you not only benefit yourself, and also you benefit a lot of people, because it takes only one of you to come. I will still lecture as by tradition. My late Chinese master, he says he would lecture. If only one person shows up, he lecture. Actually, he's being modest. Every time he lectures on sutras, it's very well attended by invisible beings, bodhisattvas, gods, goddesses, and so forth. Okay? And we can't see them, but they are there in the multitudes. But physically, you have to come. Someone has to come in order for us to lecture. Human beings have to come, by the way. We don't lecture to the bodhisattvas or the arhats alone. You have to come. That's why you create a lot of blessings. Why? Because you listen to the sutras, and they also can listen. That's why they owe you. See? All the big shots who come and listen to sutras, they only are able to do that because you come physically yourself, or you tune in as well. All right. So back to 275, the sorting out provisional actual teachings. Okay, will be discussed in the establishment of teachings in one of the chapters later. And so provisional actual teachings refer to, as a reminder, provisional is the teaching that the Buddha bestowed upon the Hinayana listeners, okay, the Hinayana students, because they are limited in capacity. Therefore, he explained things that were more palatable to them starting out. And later, when more people came, then the Buddha started explaining to them the more advanced teachings, which is the actual teachings. Provisional meaning is just to keep you in the loop and pave the way for you to receive the actual teaching. Okay? So that's why it's very useful in that sense. You see how flexible the teaching is. The teaching is bestowed You can categorize it as provisional or actual, but it's bestowed upon you based on your abilities. Okay? So if you look at the Buddhist teachings, it can be classified as provisional and actual. Okay? And what about our lecture right now? Is it actual or provisional? It's both. Okay? It's interspersed. Sometimes provisional, sometimes actual, depending on who is being tailored to. Okay? And when you listen to it, actually explanation actually tailored towards the attendees, the people who are there for your needs. Okay? So that's why you cannot tell whether it's provisional or actual. It's the lecturer's job, not your job. Okay? To discern it. All right. So it will be explained later. In the establishment of the teachings later. Okay, 276. The second, clarifying the teachings in which it is contained. The teachings fall into two categories.
第二名教摄者，教有两种。
277 commentary. Remember, this door number 2 here has two parts: the stores and the teachings containing it. So the stores, the great master Qing Liang just finished discussing it in this prologue. Now he's starting into the teachings containing it. Okay, and there are two categories of the teachings. Teachings are the bestowing of knowledge that the teacher give you for reason, for purpose. So that's why I said in our particular lectures, for example, it's both provisional and actual. You don't need to distinguish it, okay? But the lecturer needs to do both, okay? Because why? Because originally the Buddha only taught the provisional or a temporary teaching for a reason, because those people are limited. Now we are teaching both provisional and actual because the concept here is to plant the seeds for you. So in times, because we have like thousands of videos in English in Mahayana, and so it's a lot of seeds have been sown already. And now, so you see, some of you are new, so we need to plant the seeds. And then some of you have been like old hats, so we need to help you start maturing those seeds as well. So that's why it's always a mixture nowadays on the provisional and actual teachings. When we first started, 16, 17 years ago, it's mostly provisional, because I had to prepare my students to reach arhatship, become sound hearers. And now our attendees, our disciples are full spectrum, from beginner to all the way pretty high up. Okay, so that's why now we have to address the full spectrum. Yes, 8.
From Cordelia, comparing the seed that we listen to live lecture, YouTube live lecture, we watching YouTube and listening while sleeping, are the quality of the seeds different?
Not really. The seeds are bestowed by sound or by reading. And so if you do that, the seeds go into your consciousness and are stored in your what is called the 8th consciousness, the alaya consciousness. It will be there forever. Okay, we call it, bless you, we call it Vajra seeds, because no one could destroy it. Okay? Why do I say no one? It's not quite true. It's not no one. Actually, we can destroy it, but why should we? Besides us, no one can. Okay, so that's why we'll never destroy it. We'll never be destroyed at all. No one can destroy it. Okay? And so all you have to do is to listen. Even though you're sleeping, okay, your seeds still enter your consciousness. And so there's not really a difference in a quality, but if you're sleeping, and whether you're awake or sleeping, it really does not make much difference. The only difference is when it matures. So when you awake, then there are much higher chances for the seeds to mature than if you were lumbering around. Okay? Yeah, that's all. That's the only difference. All right? Remember, I said the seeds are there. And what activates the seeds, will help them mature, is when you enter samadhi. It's not by thinking. Thinking is not important. Okay? All right, it's a different animal. All right? Yeah. So, for example, when I said provisional, we give you both provisional and actual because if there are more advanced people, I would relay the actual teachings for them, for their sake. You are newer, I would go stress more on the provisional for your sake only, but you cannot tell the difference. Okay? Yeah. Why? Because if you do that, then people can progress at their own pace much quicker. Whereas if only one person comes, then all the seeds are directed towards that person and the attendees. Yes, go forth.
Master, does listening to mantras and Buddha name recitation also plant seeds, or is there a difference between that versus listening to sutras?
Yes, you do. Mantra, they also produce seeds as well. Recite the Buddha's name also produce seeds as well. Okay. The difference is who recites, who lectures. That's a huge difference. And that's why it really so too bad that when my Master YongHua, was lecturing in Chinese, people did not ask enough questions. It's such a shame to me. Okay, because if people ask more questions, the seeds will be much better quality and will mature a lot quicker than otherwise. But so yes, the question, yes, there's reciting Buddha's name, reciting sutras, or reciting mantras also plant seeds. However, the person who recites determines the quality of the seeds. Any other questions from San Jose? Yes, 4 here.
Master, when we recite the Buddha names, do we believe, what do we believe in, how do we say it? Do you love the Buddha when you recite the names, or you're asking for help? What is the attitude we have towards Buddha when we chant the name?
When you recite the Buddha's name, let's say Amitabha, when we say in English, we say recite the Buddha's name, or Nianfo in Chinese, or how do you say in Korean? Yangbul? Okay. Then we actually mean reciting Amitabha Buddha's name. Okay. But actually, it also means you're going to be reciting Shakyamuni Buddha's name, Medicine Master Buddha's name, and so forth. When you recite, in particular, Amitabha Buddha's name, you're having a lot, and you have tremendous benefits. For you in particular, it eradicates a lot of obstructions, a lot of offenses you created in the past. Okay? If you recite along, let's say, at the temple here, and you have, you probably can imagine people, quite a few people much better than you, much higher level than you. So the fact you're there in the ceremony and you recite together with them, okay, their recitation actually are helping you tremendously. If they recite, okay, instead of sleeping or instead of sitting there and doing nothing, they don't necessarily have to recite loudly if they recite even with their mind. Okay? Their recitation are helping eradicate even more offenses for you, for everyone else. Okay? That's one of the benefits. And you're creating rebirth blessings. You are that recitation actually is a form of Chan practice. Okay, our Chan training is a lot more than just crossing our legs and reciting a mantra or reciting Buddha's name or investigating Huatou. All of those. A complete Chan training is all of those. Okay. And eventually, when you get higher to the level of our disciples, you understand why. Why it's much more beneficial and you progress a lot faster when you practice Chan that way. Okay, so there the recitation of the Buddha's name is a form of Chan practice will help you enter Samadhi. Okay? And the benefits are incredible. You eventually see for yourself. Okay? It's not enough time or we're not interested in selling it to you. Because this is not a sales job. Okay? If you have the blessings, you will benefit from it. You don't have the blessing, you drop out. Tough luck. That's all you got. Okay, so it's not uncommon for people who do not have enough blessings, by the way, to come once. Now listen and they say, the Buddha's name? What's this Emitofuo here? It's nonsense. I'm out of here. But you know what? Because of that, they will become a Buddha. That's how patient we are. We're not worried. We're not worried about retaining you or converting you to Buddhists and so forth. It's not that important. Okay?
Thank you, Master.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay. 8.
From Cheng Cheng, so AI can't manipulate the 8th consciousness?
AI what?
AI cannot manipulate the 8th consciousness?
AI cannot what?
Manipulate.
Manipulate the 8th consciousness? The 8th consciousness is like a hard disk. It's a SSD. Okay? It just stores things. And can AI manipulate it? Yes, it can throw junk into it. Or it can put good things into it. But I'm grateful to one of my disciples who explained to me what ChatGPT, the rage right now for AI. She explained to me how it works. I said, you call it AI? Yeah, probably AI or inferior artificial intelligence or something. Geez, that's, our mind is much more miraculous. It's incredible what we're capable of doing. And what these people who make such a fuss out of ChatGPT and so forth, and AI and so forth, it's so far from understanding the functionings and the workings of the mind, what your mind is capable of. If they simply, these people, if they simply practice chant, they say that, I would not waste time doing ChatGPT. It's too low level. It's a waste of my time. Anyway, let it manipulate. We don't care. Just like let people manipulate us. We're not afraid. All right, anyone else? Yes, in the back.
Master, I currently have the recitation of you, Master Hua, and then I would like to put on the sutra explanation all together at the same time. Would that mess up the seed?
Will mess up what?
The seed that is planted, one is reciting the mantra and one is explain the sutra in Vietnamese simultaneously at the same time. Would that mess up the seed inside?
Mess up the what?
The seed.
The seed. The tea?
S-E-E-D.
Well, I like Chinese tea.
D as in dog.
The mess up what?
Seed. S-E-E-D. D as in dog.
The seed. Will mess up the seed. And what did you do now? These Vietnamese are too much. They're so creative. Yes. What did you create now? You want to create now? Not ChatGPT, but... I cannot believe company will invest so much money. Like I heard Microsoft spend billions of dollars investing in ChatGPT, and I said, really? You should be building like temples, Mahayana temples throughout the world. Your investment will be far greater to all your stockholders and you than buying into ChatGPT. My goodness. Lack of wisdom somewhere. Yes, what did you do again? What did you do to me? What do you want to do?
I have recitation 24 hours. Now I would like to also have sutra explanation playing at the same time. So playing two at the same time, would that be confusing or would it be okay?
Confusing to you?
To the work of planting the seed of wisdom in my consciousness.
In your consciousness?
Yes, Master.
Okay. God, I hate these questions. It's not, ever been explained before. What are we supposed to do? Okay, yeah, it won't. I hope. Okay, why not? It's because, believe it or not, your mind is so fast. Your Buddha mind is so fast. It can register that quickly as well. So you can basically, just for the heck of it, because we're talking about ChatGPT and AI in general. So practically, you should be playing like 10 different or 100 different tapes and sutras and so forth. Your seeds are incredible. Okay? Why not? But for me, why don't we encourage that? Greed. If you do things, part of your spiritual practice, that has a tinge, listen to me carefully. If in your cultivation, whatever you do has just one iota of greed, of manipulation, you planted screwy seeds. And those will mature to themselves one of these days, and you'll be sorry. So that's why there's no need to be greedy. Don't be so greedy. I listen to maybe 20 things at the same time. But you shouldn't. Okay? Because I'm greedy. I can be greedy. You should not be greedy. You understand? You trying, it's just like, it's not necessary to do that at all. You know why not? Another reason, not because of greed alone, but also, what makes you think that you haven't heard? You have plenty of seeds already. Why do I say that? Because you didn't. If you didn't, okay, have seeds, you'd be gone already. It's very tough to keep on coming and coming and coming and listen to all these things. All these lectures and these concepts. Very challenging. Yes, go Forrest.
Oh, Master, you stole my thunder. I was going to recommending Han that why stop at 2? Why not go more? And adding Master your video and Master Shenhua's and then Sutra.
At the same time, yeah.
Yeah, and then I also have the question of now, where do you stop? And the Master answered that question already, so thank you.
See, another greedy disciples. Too smart for your own good. Okay? So it brings up one important point. Do things free from greed, anger, and stupidity. That's when your seeds are of the best quality. Even though we give you the seeds, you listen to the seeds of Master Shenhua's explanation, for example, those are partial seeds. But because you listen with the mind of greed, of anger, okay, then the seeds actually are not as pure in your consciousness. So it's like we give you a gift, but you decide to alter it because of your impure mind. And that's why if you do that with an impure mind, your progress will be a lot slower than the other disciples who are pure. It's all your fault. It's not we are discriminating and say, I like you more than I like her, her and so forth, and that's why I give you better seats I will ignore. So no. It's no discrimination whatsoever, because if I did that, then my blessings are far fewer. Because one lecture, I need to have a pure mind as well. No discrimination. Okay? No anger. Don't sit there and say, I don't know. He doesn't like me. I'm here because I must. Or like that disciple of mine is saying, I'm here because I want to maximize my profits, my benefits. Hey, what happened in San Jose? People showed up. Good weather up there. Seriously? I know the Koreans have nothing to do on Saturday morning. Afternoon. All right. Next. 278. 1. The 12-fold teachings of characteristics held in common, which also divides into the great and the small. This will be explained later in the 10 Treasuries chapter.
译者通向12分教，一分大小，至下10藏品变。
Okay, 279 commentary. So you see, you just listen. You see the whole point of this is to listen, and that's it. Don't discriminate, listen. And of course, this doesn't make sense to you, and that's why we're trying to explain to you and try to clarify it for you. Okay? So here, the 12-fold teachings, a little bit explained a little bit later. 12-fold here, there's a distinctive divisions of how the teaching is given to you. And those, even though it's 12 different types of teachings, actually they can classify that into great or small. Okay? And it will be explained later. And what are the 12 divisions? They call 12 divisions. It's not like Army, Navy, and Navy SEALs and so forth. No, 12 divisions here are prose, resumptives, verses, predictions, interjections, spontaneous speaking unrequested, causes and conditions, analogies, past lives, deeds, deeds of this life, expansion, the hitherto unknown, explanations, that's 12. Okay, so in the Buddhist sutras, you'll find all of these 12 things, these 12 divisions. Okay, what are they? Prose, which is basically Changhang or Qijing. They also call the Qijing is the text that matches the potential with the teaching. Okay. So remember the Buddha's, when he first started, he had to go slow, so he taught only the low-level teaching. That's called provisional. That's called Hinayana, okay? Because he decided to warm the students up first, okay? And so the majority of the Buddhist the sutra lectures are in the form of prose, just regular verse. Regular words, okay, that will they're given according to the potential of the listeners. Okay, we'll talk about potential later down the road. Don't try to ask me too many questions, okay? So give it time so that it sinks in, and you keep on hearing it. What's so great about Master YongHua's teachings is that he went into the Buddhist concepts, Buddhist jargon and concepts and teachings, and he kept on repeating them. So that's why, don't worry, even though he's not around, you can't ask questions anymore. You can just keep on listening, and he will come back to it, and we'll come back to it time and time again. All right, and those are our core foundations. Okay, so the prose is a majority of the teaching. The resumptive verses, or the meaning that maybe he explained the teaching, gave you teachings in the form of prose, but then he used the verses to reiterate, to put more emphasis on the prose. Okay, that's the second form of second division. Third division, predictions. In the sutras, for example, in the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha has a section where the Buddha says, you, Ananda, my cousin and my devoted disciples, in the future, you become a Buddha by this in this kalpa, in this time period called so and so, and your Buddha, your name will be so and so, and then you appear in the world you create in this world here, the Buddha world, the Buddha land called so and so, and you'll be teaching for so long. Your Dharma will stay in that world for so long, and so forth. So the Buddha gave prediction. He basically says, I know you become a Buddha. Okay, and especially I want to encourage you to know that you're on the right track. And now it's irreversible for you. You will become a Buddha in that time, at that time. Okay, so it is a form of reward, a form of encouragement. So to give a prediction like that, so it's a big time for us. So that's why it's very, very encouraging for us as well, who did not receive predictions. All right, and I cannot give you predictions of when you become a Buddha because I'm no Buddha. I don't know. Buddhas would know. I wouldn't know. That's a proof. I'm no Buddha. Okay, good thing that no one ever even could think I was a Buddha. Okay. But I occasionally give predictions. For example, I predict this year there'll be a lot more sound hearers among our attendees, because that's the norm nowadays. You know, when I first started, I was so happy to bring people to first dhyana, to fourth dhyana. I said, wow, these people have potential, you know. And then pretty soon it becomes fifth samadhi, the eighth samadhi, and wow, I said, now I'm no longer impressed by the externalists. My disciples, our disciples are just as high as the gurus. You know, what's his name? Sai Baba. What's her name? Jinghai. Huh? All those people are externalist teachers, or an Indian guru who's I have bushy hair, he claims he has 1 million disciples, and many of them are Caucasian, and he has like a white thing here, and his bushy hair has a speck of white. Okay, I was impressed by him. He was a 6th samadhi. He's dead already, I think. And so I said, now my disciples, if they leave me, they can go out and become a guru on their own accord, and they will be contributing to the world. Why not? Okay, we can't teach them all. And then after that, some started going to the sound hearer range, meaning Arhat, 1st stage Arhat to 4th stage Arhat, and so forth. And so the norm nowadays is sound hearers. Okay, yeah. And that's why you monks and nuns should run scared. Okay, because the lay disciples are that scary, should be that scary to you. They're higher level than you. You should be making offerings to them. They should make offerings to you. Okay? All right. That's the norm. But, my prediction also is that there are many more of you who will become enlightened, both lay people and left home people. Okay, so those are predictions, meaning that you are on the right track. Don't look down upon yourself. You have tremendous potential. Interjections are they're not connected. When you speak Dharma, you have the speaking of Dharma has all these principles. Interjections are just standalones. They're not connected to the teaching before or the teachings after. Okay, so those are interjections. The other one is spontaneous speaking unrequested, refers to the fact that Mahayana teachings are as a principle, because it's requested, meaning you need to formally ask to be taught with sincerity, then you will be bestowed the teaching because of your sincerity. It's given to you to benefit you. If you're not sincere, you're not that serious about it, we're not going to waste our time teaching you. Okay? And that's why typically in Mahayana, Master YongHua stressed that we have a Dharma request. We started today. Okay, before we speak the sutras, it has to be requested. That's in that spirit. The Dharma has to be requested. You need to show sincerity. So that's why I would personally concentrate and recite the Dharma request. Go through that process, because I'm requesting help from the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas as well. Okay. However, there are times where the Dharma, it must be spoken, even though it's not requested. It's because people don't have enough wisdom to request the Dharma. So that's why, in particular, the Pure Land Dharma is so advanced, so wonderful, that they would know, people would know that it should be requested. So the Buddha says, today I feel good, and had a good lunch, and so I'm in good mood, so I will bestow of you the teaching here that will help you and your mother have a better lot in the future lives. Okay, so the Pure Land Dharma door in particular is the kind of, belongs to the division of the Dharma spoken without request. Okay? Another type of division, that's causes and conditions. Causes and conditions are actually permeate everything that's given to you. When it's spoken to you, usually you look at the Dharma, it has causes and conditions. Okay, causes are the source, conditions are the aiding causes to make things happen. Okay, and so the classification is cause and conditions. Another one is called analogy, meaning that instead of explaining directly to you, to us, the Buddha would use an analogy, and he's the master at it. No one can match his ability to come up with analogies to explain these important concepts, these difficult concepts, profound concepts to us, to all of us. And he uses analogies. So he's the master at it. He's genius at it. Okay, and so I love analogies. The ability of the Buddha to use analogies is incredible. It's so masterful to me. Okay, as well as past lives deeds. Okay, past life deeds refers to 本事 okay 比喻本事 本身 okay past life deeds refers to the deeds of the bodhisattvas. When you practice Mahayana, you progress through the phases. Okay, low level and a high level. And what happens is that when you reach level called bodhisattva, and that's when the things they do are so special. They are so profound. And that's why they're registered in our teachings, because they serve as like a recipe, if you will, as encouragement, if you will. So that's why whatever the bodhisattvas do, especially the big ones, are very, very special. Are like they act like role models, act like recipes of success for us. Okay, so that's why we have quite a few. Like Master Xinhua, I loved part of his teaching is that he would tell stories about the deeds of the various bodhisattvas. But do you realize that many bodhisattvas come to our world and pretend to be like a professor, pretend to be like a guru? Like Lao Tzu, for example, the founder of Taoism. He's actually Mahakashyapa, okay, a bodhisattva or an arhat. And so he taught something here to the Chinese called Taoism. Well, actually, Taoism is a watered-down version of the Hinayana teachings. Okay, so that's why past lives here not only includes the bodhisattvas, but also Master Xinhua would explain about certain personalities and so forth, and those are in a way as our 21st century, 20th century past lives deeds, if you will. Those are great stories about great men, okay, who actually are bodhisattvas. Okay, all right. Deeds of this life refers to the Buddha's lives. Who is better in terms of recipes of success or role models than the Buddha's lives themselves? What did they do? Okay, so it's great for all of us at all levels. It's particular for Mahasattvas and Bodhisattvas. They understand the Dharma better by looking at how the Buddha lived the Buddhas lived their lives. Okay? Expansion refers to the teachings that was given between the provisional and the actual, okay? Because of the shock there for his babies, his Hinayana disciples, he decided to expand, meaning to transition into it. So it took quite a few years explaining the expansion Dharma that is the bridge between the Hinayana and Mahayana teachings, if you will. The core Mahayana teaching and the Hinayana teaching was transitioned by this expansion thing, expanded the Hinayana teachings into the Mahayana core, if you will. So in a way, Hinayana is also Mahayana. I don't know why the Hinayana people are so offended when we say Hinayana, Mahayana. To us, Hinayana is also Mahayana. It has all the Mahayana principles, but it needs to be transitioned for you to begin to understand it. Okay? Yeah. Oh, what happened? All of a sudden I see Korean stuff. What a miracle. I don't know where I'm at. You inserted all these characters. Where am I going to locate myself? I have a marker, you know. Okay, so expansions. Hitherto unknown, meaning it's a new concept. When you're ready, okay, now we go into master's level, or PhD level, or postgraduate level, okay? So that's why they go into change the topic, change the level. Now we do Bodhisattva level. Now we do Mahasattva level, okay? And I think they messed up the slide 280. Lun Yi is not explanation alone. They truncated a few words, English words. Is it? Okay, maybe. No, they haven't. Okay, Lun Yi in Chinese means that the Buddha sometimes says this principle is very profound, even for you, Bodhisattva, even for you, sound hearers, even for you, smart people. I will explain a little bit for you. Okay, so those are explanations. Explanation of the profound principles, if you will, to help you understand. So those are the 12 divisions, all contained in all sutras. Okay, so it's misleading to look at like 12 divisions, like you have like, the Army and Navy and Air Force and so forth, and commandos and so forth. 12 divisions actually the way, the contents. Okay, and why is it called divisions? Because they have different purposes, folks. Just like we mentioned the concept of the Army, the Navy, and Air Force, and so forth, because they're used for different reasons in unlocking the tremendous potential that you have. Okay? We need all 12 different divisions for those purposes. See how sophisticated you really are. The Buddhas need all 12 divisions to unlock your potential. Sound like a sales pitch, huh? Yeah? Okay, very good. Okay, that's why I keep on telling you that you're so special. But you don't believe it. You say, I'm no good. I'm just a lowly, person. No. The Buddha has to use 12 different divisions to come at you. Because you have so many obstructions. 281. 2. All the establishments of teachings on the part of all the schools, which are not the same, and will now be explained in general.
二者，诸宗立教不同，今当略示。
Okay, so and now the second category of the teachings is called the different schools. Okay, so in Buddhism, in the history of Buddhism in Chinese, for example, in India, they have different schools. They have Madhyamika, they have the Yogigara, and so forth. I don't know. I don't remember all the Sanskrit words and so forth. But they have different schools in India. They went to China, and then they brought the Buddhism to China, and then the Bodhisattva came to China, and they said, well, the Chinese are different. They eat different food, don't use less curries than Indians, so I better use something, that's more digestible for you, easily digestible for them. So they have different schools. They have Tian Tai school. They have Xian Shou school. They have consciousness only, which is a translation from Sanskrit into Chinese and so forth. So they found the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas found that for their followers, they have to serve different food, and that's the teachings, if you will, for them to digest. Okay, just like at our temple here, you go to Go Forest, it's Vietnamese food, primarily. You go to DTT, Chung In Sunim, what food is there? Korean. Okay, you come here, Wei Mountain Temple, we don't know what food you're eating. Master Xian Tong, we don't know what she cooks. She calls it pho, but I say, it doesn't taste like pho. But I would never argue with her. She's my kitchen manager. You never argue with kitchen manager unless you want to get in trouble. Okay? So the school does the same thing. The schools are like serving you these concepts. Like we serve you food. Because when you eat the food, it goes inside of you, and it does wonderful things to your body. Okay, same thing. The schools, to me, is like food. And Wei Mountain Temple, okay, I believe in international. So that's why I love it when, even though it's not quite Mexican tacos, it's not quite Indian curry. Okay, it's not quite spaghetti. Okay, the spaghetti they do here, the Asians do spaghetti. It's overcooked. When are you going to learn? Okay, and so I like it because it has all these international flavors. Okay, and will render your mind into an internationally minded mind instead of thinking yourself as Vietnamese or Korean or Japanese or Indian and so forth alone. Okay? Because you are none of those. You are all of the above. Okay? Don't sell yourself short. So that's why there are different schools in Buddhism. That's normal. Okay? Yeah. 283. The sea of teachings pours out profoundly. The cloud of Dharma extensively unfurls. The light of wisdom has no bounds. The wondrous eloquence is inexhaustible. And before you serve food, we make you wait sometimes.
夫教海冲深，法云弥漫，智光无际，妙变迥穷。
Okay. 284. Okay. Now this is an example of the verse. You see, We just finished, the Master Jinglang just wrote some prose to explain his thing, and then all of a sudden he throws a verse at us. Okay? This here is sort of kind of remind you, because I imagine just like you, the people who were in attendance were also lost, just like myself. What is he talking about? He's just so advanced, okay? That even we get this is a tiny part of it is incredible seeds for us, okay? Which is pretty impressive. So he says, the sea of teachings pours out profoundly. Sea of teachings. Teachings are those principles contained in the Avatamsaka Sutra. All those principles are geared towards your potential. Right now you're low, yes. But the ones who are higher than you right now started just like you did right now. Okay? They also started low and then they evolve. Okay? So the teachings can be bestowed to prepare you for the various levels of your progression. And it's a sea of teaching because actually when we talk about when we speak Dharma, it goes from low to high, the full range. Actually, you know what? Even the higher ones are still learning at the lower level because it's a sea. A sea meaning that it's boundless. So what they heard, the reason the advanced students, the Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas got there, okay, here, the Bodhisattva and Mahasattva here got there because of these teachings here they received in the past. However, we're providing more depth for them. Because of you, many of you now prefer curry, many of you now prefer kimchi. Before, my disciples wanted pho. And then those pho people dropped out and said, I don't like it. Your pho now becoming not pho anymore. Okay, so they drop out. Now the kimchi people come and then, and so forth. And so now you have different flavors. Does it make sense? Now, even though you're high, you look back and say, oh, wow, I got there this narrow path, but now actually is more. The Dharma is more than just Vietnamese, just Korean, you see? And that's why it's called the sea, because even the advanced students realize that they lack breadth. They have the depth, but they don't have the breadth. So that's why they are still benefiting from the teachings. In what way? For example, now when I taught them more along the flavor. Now I taught them more along the kimchi flavor, among, what do you eat in Colombia? I don't know, tacos? No? What do you eat? How come we don't have any Colombian food?
Yes, Master. I brought empanadas.
Bananas?
Empanadas.
Empanadas? But that's Spanish.
Well, we were conquered by Spanish, by Spain.
Okay.
Lechon also.
Yeah, okay. See, and thank you, by the way. So that's why the sea of teachings, okay, it's multidimensional and pours out profoundly. The sea of teaching not only breath, but also very, very deep. Okay, it sounds like it's low level. Okay, remember I said about low level. Actually, it has a depth here, even for the advanced practitioner. You know why? They are exposed. How? To activate the low-level things. Okay? So they realize the teaching is, even at a low level, is very, very profound. Am I making sense to you? Or does it sound too much like a commercial? Yes, sir. 5.
Thank you, Master. Yes, the way I see it is that you were explaining before, is that we first expand and then we improve. And I thought to myself that once you improve, you start working only on that level. But what you are saying, I think, is that we never stop working on the lower levels as well, because it's so deep that we always keep on working on those and the ones on top and all of them.
Yeah, I help you. It helps all levels, a lot more than you think. Okay? It pours out. Pours out here, it reminds me of the pitcher. We serve water at my table, my seat. They gave me a pitcher of water here. It pours out. And I realize that I can drink up to a certain point and it empty. Okay? But the sea here pours out infinitely. Okay? It's like endless. And that's the nature of the teaching in Buddhism. Okay? The cloud Dharma extensively unfurls, okay? Or you can use the analogy that's often used in the Avatamsaka Sutra, is clouds. Clouds are like everywhere in space, okay, of Dharma. Okay, so the Dharma is everywhere, okay? Extensively unfurls, meaning that the cloud, you know the cloud there, all of a sudden it expands effortlessly, okay? And takes over the whole sky. Yes, JC.
JC, 저희 안 들립니다. We cannot hear you.
안녕하세요. 네, 아까 씨앗 이야기 하셨을 때 더 궁금한 게 있어서 질문합니다. 탄진치 씨앗의 가보에 대한 건데, 그 누구보다 더 높아지고 싶은 마음, 그리고 더럽고 짜증나는 세상에 대한 분노에서 출발한 마음, 그리고 깨닫기 전까지는 정도의 차이가 있겠지만 탄진치에서 완전히 벗어날 수 없고 미혹과 어리석음에서부터 출발할 수밖에 없다고 생각합니다. 그러하였을 때 가보와 그리고 번뇌 즉 보리가 되는 어떤 그 관계에 대해 답변해 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
상호쌤, we cannot hear you. No.
Wait, right here? It's unmuted, yeah. Right here?
Do you hear me?
Yes.
What's your Korean?
So you told us about the seed. So I have a question. There's a seed of greed, anger, and stupidity, and there's a retribution. Everybody wants to be superior, become better, and then we have some anger toward the world, and we cannot get out of our greed, anger, and stupidity. So we have to start from our delusion and stupidity. Then what is the retribution of that? And could you explain about the meaning of affliction become body? Is there any relationship?
Okay. Of course, you're not enlightened yet. That's why your mind, like it or not, have thoughts of anger, greed, and stupidity. And that's why the seeds you plant, actually, the quality of those seeds will vary from individual to individual. The same Dharma is spoken to you. However, the seeds are registered differently from each individual according to your level, to their levels. Okay? So it's natural. But the seeds, even though initially the seeds are not good quality, but as you progress, even if you listen to the same tape, the same Dharma again, let's say you listen to Master YongHua this year, and then you listen to it again next year, your level will be higher. Your seeds are better quality. You see, you have more seeds, but better quality seeds. So that's why it's important for you to keep on listening and listening instead of trying to understand. Okay? Understanding is not that important. Just keep on listening. Okay, and you see. So what about afflictions or bodies or afflictions? That's a different topic. Okay. Afflictions, yes. Afflictions are caused by greed, anger, stupidity. How they become bodhi. Bodhi is that, this is a secret. The Chinese like to say it, the Asians like to say it in their teachings, affliction of bodhi is affliction. And no one really understands it. And they quote it, especially people who are extremely afflicted. Like to quote that for me and say, Master, I'm angry, but that's the seeds of my body. And I say, I'm bodhi, therefore I can be angry as you are. Huh? Bodhi are affliction, but afflictions are bodhi. Huh? What kind of nonsense are you spewing? Are you trying to sell to me? Okay, so what are afflictions of bodhi? It has to do with this. Let me explain this to you in a simple way, and then I have 2 more sentences to continue. Or if I run out of time, we will have to continue. Okay, so feel free, to ask questions. Afflictions of bodhi, bodhi's affliction. Let me explain it to you in a simple way. One way, let's say afflictions of bodhi. Oh, you want me to go first bodhi or afflictions? Your choice. I'm easy. 1 or 2? Door number 1 or door number 2? What? What? Raise your hand. 1 is 1 hand. 2 is 2 hands. I surrender. Ukrainian, Russians. Okay, so I guess 0 is no hands. 1, 2. Okay. How about I do both? Okay. Afflictions of bodhi. You're afflicted, meaning you're angry and you are greedy for more seats and so forth. Okay, that's affliction, right? How are afflictions bodhi? It's because we have a secret sauce and we add to your afflictions, okay? And we turn that into pho. Or kimchi. Maybe a little bit spoiled, rotten kimchi, but it's still kimchi. Okay? Depending on the type of affliction you have. Does it make sense? So that's why at WMT, and please don't take me wrong, it's like an advertisement. Here, even though our food is not quite 100%, but it's like close enough. Because you too afflicted, or either that or my kitchen manager is too afflicted. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay? So, afflictions are bodhi because here's what happens. I joke about it, but actually, the sauce here, we're adding to you. Notice that? We add a sauce to you, to the ingredients. You may be afflicted, but we have a sauce that we smear you with it, Okay, and sometimes I take a hammer and beat you up on that, Like when a chef do, or take a knife and cut in half, and then stuff you up and then sew you up again, like a chicken or a duck, huh? Yeah, and so forth. Or you take a beautiful body of a cattle, and you slice it into different types of meat, filet mignon to round steak, huh? And so forth. New York cut, and so forth. And then you take a knife and you slice it. Huh? You slice it. And so you have all these different processes that turn these raw ingredients of your afflictions and you into something called bodhi. Meaning what? Meaning that even though you're afflicted, even though you're greedy, even though you're angry, even though you're pretty stupid, we don't shoot you. We don't discard you. We still embrace you. And we add more sauces. We process it so that all the bad stuff in you, okay, will be melded, will be processed so that you become a beautiful bowl of pho or some curry or fantastic kimchi. I'm fascinated by the kimchi people, okay? Anyway, barbecue and so forth. Now I'm more into empanadas. Okay, so that's a process of the good no advisors. They take the greed, anger, stupidity in you, and they give you instructions so that you can become enlightened. Let's face it, unless you're afflicted, there's no reason for you to become enlightened. Have you thought about it? You said, you come to the temple, say, this temple, and people are so nice. Our temple is just the opposite. Our temple people are ugly, they're nasty, they're manipulative, they're greedy, they're stupid, they're angry. And then all those are necessary ingredients. We don't just throw them out and say, no, you're too angry, no, you're too greedy, and get out of here. You know, we only deal with nice people. If we do that, then no one have a place at temples. You know, people come to the temple, except for only a few, come to the temple because they're greedy, because they're angry, they're stupid. That's why they go to the temple. At least that's what their spouses, the family think. No? Only one person is laughing. So that's why, the secret sauce is that basically we have teaching techniques, Chan, Pure Land, Tantras, and so forth, repentances, all those are the secret processes, secret sauces that we add to you so that you can become enlightened. And it only happens because you are afflicted. If you're not afflicted, you have no incentives to become enlightened. So that's why we don't reject anyone. Depressed people? Depressed people? Angry people? Don't talk to me, don't talk to me. Master is the meanest person on earth. He beats me up, and when I fall down, he tramples me more. Okay? And so forth. And all those afflictions are actually the nuclear reactor for you to become enlightened. Now, why would we kill you? Why would we, get rid of you? No, we love greedy, angry, stupid people. Is it clear? That's from affliction become bodhi. Because you know why? Deep down when you're afflicted, you do not like yourself. We don't like you, that's for sure. But you don't like yourself either. You don't want to admit it. You don't like yourself at all. But I like you. Wow! Because I see you as bodhi materials. Okay? We don't reject anyone. Only the weak says, you too angry, you too stupid. Get out of here. Go away. Because they're weak. They can't handle you. Me, I love it when you're angry, when you're stupid. I beat up on you. See, you can't hurt me, but I can hurt you. Okay? So, that's why we're not afraid of your afflictions. We're not afraid of all your three poisons. We use the three poisons and turn you into Bodhi. That's a good knowing advisor's jobs. Because you can't do it yourself. No way you can do it. No way you can figure it out. If you think that meditation alone, sitting there, is enough, forget it, because at some point where in the corners of your mind you're so stupid, you're so angry, you're so greedy that you cannot even see it yourself. You can't. There's no way for you to see it. But the good advisor, the good one, look at, okay, you try to manipulate me, I let you. But I make you pay down the road. The more you mess with me, the more the retribution will come later. And you hurt more. You'll be sorry. And the song says, who's sorry now? Okay? And that's part of the fun. I don't know why. And that's why I'm encouraging you eventually one day become a good advisor. It's a lot of fun. Yeah? Okay, that's affliction to Bodhi. Oh my God, now I'm running out of time. What about Bodhi to afflictions? Let me tell you. You, Bodhi is enlightened. Bodhi is affliction. You enlightened and you are afflicted? What does it mean? Two things I like you to think about, and I have to go, okay? I love to hang out with you, but I have things to do. Okay, two things I want you to consider. We can talk on and on and on. Two things. You are enlightened. You're enlightened. Then number one, you're not attached to enlightenment. You don't attach to feeling good, feeling, happy, and feeling so that you, like a bodhisattva, jump back into the mud and start smelling things. Oh, very good. And dealing with ugly people, okay? And that's what bodhisattvas do. They say, I'm enlightened now, therefore I need to get back, okay? And that's what I do, okay? So just bodhi doesn't mean you don't get afflicted, okay? You still enlightened, but you still jump back into the mud, and you don't distinguish, you don't discriminate that you happy and you peaceful, and you prefer not to be afflicted, you prefer not to be angry, you prefer not to be greedy. Bodhisattvas don't discriminate anymore. Is that clear? So for them, Bodhi, enlightenment, is the same as affliction. It's no more discrimination. Is it clear from that side? Number two, you know any bodhisattvas? Don't answer that. Okay? I'm running out of time. Go for it. I told you already. Don't make me afflicted. Okay, so what happened is that the Bodhisattva, he says, no one understands me. Sounds familiar? I keep on hearing, during the first 10 years of my life. Master does not understand me. No, Master, you don't understand me at all. No one. I'm the one who said, no one understands me. But no, they are all my disciples. Master, you don't understand me. And what happened? Master Hsuan, you know what? Every night he goes to bed and he cries, no one understands me, so I'm so lonely. You think they do that? No. Because they expect it. They expect that no one can understand them. No one understands them. So how they connect with you? Greedy and stupid and angry people. How can I explain the Dharma to you, sir? If I don't speak Espanol or English, I speak you in Vietnamese. You think you understand the Dharma? Of course not. Meaning that you trade with greed, anger, and stupidity. Yes? In order for bodhisattvas to help you, they have to speak the same language. They still have, so they have to be greedy, they have to be stupid, they have to be angry with you. That's how you connect. You understand each other. Okay? You say, oh, he's getting angry. That's not piss him off. You see that? I say, okay, let's stop. Let's stop doing things to make him angry. He's going to beat me up. Is that clear? So bodhisattvas, point number 2, bodhisattvas, they sometimes use something called expedience. And expedience means that they appear to be angry, appear to be greedy, appear to be stupid, but actually they're not. And that's a function of enlightenment. You enlighten. You allow yourself to be stupid, to be angry, so that you can get close to living beings and help them. So you speak the language of anger, you speak the language of stupidity, and speak the anger of greed, in order to connect with living beings so that you can help them. Is that clear? So that's why you go either way. You go, if right now for you who are not enlightened, you have to go look at your afflictions, and your affliction, your good advice will help you overcome your afflictions. That's how you become enlightened. Once you become enlightened, then you should be more afflicted than before. You see? You're so much more greedy. You're so much more angry than before. More violent than before. Is that clear? Does it help? Does it make sense to you or not? Okay, don't answer that. We stop here tonight. Thank you. Okay. Mwah!